today I'm going to show you how I make noodles for a crowd or for just one person, whatever. Anyway, you start with an egg, of course. You break it into I use a 2-cup Pyrex measuring cup, and I'm going to make 3 eggs today. So you want approximately 3 cups of flour, and to which you add approximately a teaspoon of salt. Some people don't use salt in their noodles. I use a little bit. Then you break your egg into the glass cup, and I add 1 teaspoon of yellow food coloring. Some people don't use food coloring, and
A teaspoon or a drop?
a drop,
Oh,
a
okay.
teaspoon of salt, and a drop, just 1 drop is plenty, into your egg. And you mix that up real well with the egg. It doesn't take very long, just mix it up in there. Then you start putting your flour into the egg a little bit at a time, just keep stirring and beating it up until it gets solid and holding together, and so that it'll pour out. It clears the side of the cup. And it's not real sticky. It's some sticky, but after you get it to a certain point and you put it out onto your counter, you still have to put flour into it. It takes a long time to do that. You just keep stirring and patting and putting it all in there. Sometimes you think it won't work, but it will. And until you get it a lot of flour, that's the secret, I guess, getting a lot of flour into the egg. Some people use a little water in their egg. Some people use a little milk. I don't. I just use an egg and flour and a tiny bit of salt until you get it into where it is pulling away from the cup and still doesn't have near enough flour in it. But when it gets to that point, you can turn it out on your counter, add more flour, and just keep pushing it together like you would knead bread. Okay, that's the first step. Then you get it out and you just keep adding flour and working it in until you get a ball like this. Until you can pick it up and it pretty much stays together. And then you want to roll it out to about 1/4 of an inch, turning it and pressing and rolling it out, adding more flour until you get it into a nice big roll of dough, circle of dough. And when you get it to there, and that's not near thin enough, it should be more like this, and could even be thinner than that. But when you get it there, the way I do, I come over here and I put it on my cutting board. I really should have a bigger cutting board, but I don't, so I'll just put your flour over where you can reach it, because you'll probably need to add some flour to this. Then I cut it in half, then I cut it in half this way, and I fold it together, cut it into approximately a square here, fold this over like this, and roll it like a jelly roll. Some people like their noodles thick. I kind of like mine thin. It's just whatever you want. You can cut it like this. You can cut it long, not roll it up. Some people do like that. But I like to do mine this way. When you get all that cut, that piece cut, what I do is I go over here and I pull them all apart, And I add some more flour when I get them all cut. I spread them all out, go through the whole thing like that. Spread them all out, cover them with a nice big dish towel that I have especially for that purpose. And leave them overnight, let them dry. And then you're ready to cook them. Chicken and lots of broth.